Hello everybody and welcome to the video notes for Unit 4, Day 5. And today we're going to be talking about exponential notation. The first part of this class you had to make a guess. Oh, and before I forget, today's video is dedicated to Athena in 6B. Hi Athena. The first part of class you had to make a guess if this is equal to this and explain why or why not. On the left side, we have 10 plus 10 plus 10. And if you do the math out, 10 plus 10 is 20. And then you add another 10 on top of that, and you get 30. So we know that this is equal to 30. And last week, we also learned that if you have 10 and you're adding it 3 times, that's the same thing as 10 times 3. On the right here, we have 10 times 10 times 10, right? It's multiplication, not addition. And if we do the math, 10 times 10 is 100, right? You would get 100 from that, times another 10. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So this would be equal to 1,000. And this number, you will notice here, is very different from this number. So multiplying over and over is very different from adding over and over. And that's why we have something called exponential notation. So we're going to take this right here, and the way that we would write this using exponential notation is we would have a 10 as the base. So we'll draw a big 10 right in the middle there. And then since 10 is being multiplied by itself 3 times, this would be 10 to the third power. And we put a 3 a little bit smaller and up here like that. It's living upstairs. The big number, draw an arrow here, this is called the base. B-A-S-E. That number is called the base. And that number is, we say that that's the number being multiplied. The number being multiplied. This number up here, this 3, draw a little arrow there, that's what we call the exponent. E-X-P-O-N-E-N-T. That's the exponent. And what that tells us is how many times the base is multiplying itself. So in this instance, since it's 10 times 10 times 10, the number 10, which is the base, is being multiplied with itself 3 times, and so that 3 is the exponent. And all of this, we would say this as 10 to the third power. So we would read this as 10 to the third power. Okay, so now we're familiar with what is exponential notation. Let's take a look at this table down below. Now we're going to talk about what expanded form is, what exponential form is, and then at the very end, we'll talk about standard form. So for now, don't worry about standard form, we'll save that for last. Expanded form is when the numbers are multiplied out like this. So here we have 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. And when we want to write it in exponential form, first we figure out what is the base. What is the number that's being multiplied? Well, in this case, that's 5. So I would write 5 as the base, so 5 is the big number. And then I have to figure out what is the exponent, right? How many times is the base being multiplied with itself? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is being multiplied with itself 5 times. So in this case, it's 5 to the 5th power. 5 is the base, and 5 is the exponent. That's exponential form. And when it gives you exponential form like this, 8 to the 3rd power, and you want to rewrite it in expanded form, well, you think to yourself, what's the base? It's 8. So we know we're going to have an 8. And what's the exponent? It's 3. So 8 is being multiplied with itself 3 times. So that's going to be 8 times 8 times 8. And that's expanded form. So with those examples, and now that we know our definition here, what I want you to do is to first fill out the rest of this table. Remember, don't do standard form yet. And I want you to answer this question right here. So fill out the rest of this part right here, and then answer this question. So it's time to pause and try that on your own. And now you are resuming the video to check your work. Two is being multiplied with itself 4 times, so that's the same thing as 2 to the 4th power. Also, I'll tell you the first letter of the secret word is P. P as in potato. The first letter of the secret word is P as in potato. Okay, this one we did 10 to the 6th power. That's the same thing as 10 times itself 6 times. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. That's 4 times 5 times 10. That's 6. G to the 3rd power. That's G times itself 3 times. So that's G times G times G. I'll also tell you the second letter of the secret word right now is I. The second letter of the secret word is I, as in India. I. Now, what is the difference between 3G and G to the 3rd power? Well, with that, I'm not going to give you the exact answer because I really want you to try to answer that one on your own. But if you didn't get it, the hint is, look back up here. Right? What's the difference between these two? That's similar to the difference between 3G and G to the 3rd power. Okay. Now, going to this last part here, it says when you are finished, go back and use a calculator to evaluate the standard form in each expression. So I'm going to show you how to do one, and then you're going to do the rest on your own. Also, the third and last letter of the secret word is T. T as in 10. So the third letter of the secret word is T as in 10. Okay, so when we have expanded form and exponential form, to find the standard form is just asking you to solve what is this equal to. And for that we can use our calculator. So we have to do 5 times 5 times 5. That's 3 times, again, for a 4th time, times 5 times 5. So I did 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. I did that 5 times, and I get 3,125. That's my answer, 3,125. Right, so you just got to do number times number times number times number times number equals, and that gives you the number. Okay, so now you can use a calculator and fill the rest of this out on your own. And with that, we are all finished.